Okay, for one more day, we're going to be working off of that essential question, the same one we worked off of last week. How can I use trig ratios to solve triangle problems? And one thing that I want to tell you here is that when you are asked to solve a triangle, all right, if you read directions and the directions say solve the triangle, solve the given triangle, all right, that means to find all the angle measures and all the side lengths. Solving a triangle. That means to determine, find out, figure out, solve for all of the angle measures in the triangle and all of the side lengths. Okay? So, you used sine, cosine, and tangent last week to find side lengths. So, we're going to expand on that, and we're going to use sine, cosine, tangent, but we are going to use a different function on the calculator. We're going to use the second function in your calculator, and we're going to be using the inverse of sine, cosine, and tangent to find angle measures. Okay, and this expression right here is red. You read that the inverse sine of x. The inverse sine of x. And when finding angle measures, in triangles, we will use inverse sine, cosine, and tangent. So let's do an example, and that's really the best way to explain how to use the inverse function of sine, cosine, and tangent. So we got a triangle, and we're still working with right triangles. So if we're given a right triangle, and we got angles A, B, and C, and side AB is 20, and side BC is 6. We are still going to use the acronym SOHCAHTOA. And if you're asked to find the measure of angle A, the measure of angle A, In relation to angle A, this is angle A. In relation to angle A, the two sides that are given, we're going to label the sides again. The 6 side BC is opposite, and the 20 side that's next to it is the adjacent. So we've got angle A, we've got an opposite side, and we've got an adjacent side. Which ratio will we use? We will use tangent. We will use the TOA acronym. Tangent equals opposite over adjacent. But since we're finding an angle measure, we're going to be using the inverse function. So now, here's what our equation will look like. Actually, our expression. We're going to use inverse tangent of opposite over adjacent, which is 6 over 20. And that's how you would read that. Inverse tangent of 6 over 20. And the inverse tangent of 6 over 20 will give you the measure of angle A. So in your calculators, here's the buttons you push. 6, I use the fraction button. The A, it looks like this, A, B, C. Alright, so you push the 6, you push the fraction button. That gives you you're starting a fraction on your calculator. And then you push the 20, or the 2, and then the 0, right? And you should have something on your calculator that looks like this. That's 6 over 20 in these calculators. Now, since we're using inverse, you push second button, and then second button, which is the green button, and then tan. And you don't even have to hit equals. The number on your screen is the measure of angle A. Did anybody do that in the calculator with me? What'd you get? Okay. Now I have set my calculator to second fix 1. Second. Alright, so let's see. I got 16.7 on mine. So that's degrees. On your calculator, if you push the second button again, and if you push the period button down on the bottom, it's just a period. Behind it in green it says fix. And then you push the 1 button and hit equals. What does your screen do? Rounds it where? How many places? Rounds it 1 place. Alright, second, this is also the fix. This is the number of places. So you can set your calculator to round for you. By hitting second fix 1, you're rounding everything 1 decimal place or to the nearest tenth. If you're asked to round to the nearest hundredth, you could push second fix 2. And on your screen, on your calculator, it adds another 0. So it rounds a second decimal place. So when you're reading the directions for an assignment and they tell you how to round, just set your calculator to that and the calculator can do all the rounding for you. So let's try another one of these inverse ratio problems. Here's triangle ABC again. You got a side that's 3 and you got a side that's 15. and we're dealing with angle A. We need the measure of angle A. We're still using the acronym SOHCAHTOA. In relation to angle A, the sides that you're given are the adjacent side and the hypotenuse. If you're working with adjacent and hypotenuse, what ratio are we going to be using? Adjacent and hypotenuse, which ratio? Cosine, good. So here's our expression. Inverse cosine of adjacent over hypotenuse, so 3/15. And then back in the calculator. 3/15 second cosine equals, I'm on hundredths now, second fix 1, I got 78.5. So the measure of angle A equals 78.5 degrees. Everybody okay with that? Anybody confused or need to see another one? I do want to show you something. Let's take a look at this triangle. This triangle ABC. And let's say that you're given some side lengths that you're not real used to seeing. Maybe you got a 2. Oh, I didn't mean that. We're going to make side AB 2 times the square root of 5. If I can get my eraser to work. Come on, honey. Come on, honey. Good boy. Let's say that this side is 2 times the square root of 5. And let's say that this side 4 square root of 5. And we're trying to find angle A. Again, we've got opposite and we got adjacent. So we're dealing with tangent. And we're finding an angle, so we're going inverse tangent. Now we got opposite over adjacent, so we got 4 square root of 5 over 2 square root of 5. Don't try to type that into the calculator, because you've got 4 times the square root of 5 over 2 times the square root of 5, don't you? What happens to the square root of 5s in a fraction if you have something over itself? Don't these just cancel out? They just cancel out. And you're left with 4 over 2. And you can simplify that as well if you want to. It equals 2. 4 over 2 simplifies to 2 over 1. So you're just going to be using the 2 in your calculator. So you got 2 second tan 63.4 degrees. My point being, if you got radicals, same radicals over each other, just cancel them out. And then simplify the numbers that are left. Questions? Okay, your assignment for today is on the bottom of page 574, 36 through 41.